Hello, my dear friend. Welcome to VUS Learning English podcast. My name is Anna, and I am so happy you are here today. Today, we are going to talk about something very important, something many of you think about, something that might make you feel sad or worried. We are going to talk about a big question. Is it possible to become fluent in a new language as an adult? Maybe you are 25 years old. Maybe you are 35. Maybe you are 45 or 55 or even older. And you think, is it too late for me? Today, I want to give you a new hope. I want to show you what science says, and I promise you, it is good news. This episode is for you. It is a gift of encouragement for your heart. Before we start, I want to say thank you. Thank you for choosing to spend your time with me today. It means so much. If you enjoy our time together, please think about tapping the like button or subscribing to the channel. It is a small click for you, but it is a big, big help for us. It helps us reach more English learners just like you. I am always curious. Where are you listening from today? Are you in Canada? Or India? Maybe you are in Myanmar? Or Sri Lanka? Or maybe somewhere I have not named? Please tell me in the comments. I love to see where our learning family is. It makes me so happy to see our world connected by learning. Okay, let's begin. I want you to think about something. Have you ever seen a small child? Maybe a 5-year-old or a 6-year-old. They can speak one language, then they switch. And they speak another language so easily, like breathing air. And when you see that, how do you feel? Do you feel a little sad? Do you feel a little bit of regret? Do you think in your mind, wow, that is amazing, but my time is gone. That window for learning is closed for me. I'm too old now. This is a story we have all heard, a story many people believe. The story says, you are too old. Your brain is not flexible anymore. It is like old, hard plastic, not new, soft clay. Learning a new language is for children. For you, an adult, it is not possible. This story feels true, doesn't it? It feels real. But I am here today to tell you something very important. That story is a lie. It is maybe the biggest lie in language learning. It is a myth, a big, old, and very damaging myth. It is an idea that stops millions of wonderful people just like you from even trying. It stops them from finding the joy of speaking a new language. Today, we are going to break that myth. We are going to smash it into tiny pieces. Because there was a giant study, a huge landmark study, one of the biggest language studies ever. It had more than 660,000 people, 669,498 people to be exact. So many people from all over the world. And this study found the surprising truth, the scientific truth. It found the truth about your adult brain and your brain's amazing, incredible power to learn. What this study found is incredible. It does not just challenge the old story, it writes a completely new story. A new rule book for what is possible for you at any age. The truth is this, yes, your age is a number, it is a factor, but it is not the biggest problem. It is not a wall that stops you. The biggest barrier, the biggest wall, is the lie we tell ourselves. By the end of our time together today, you will understand why that is a lie, and you will have a new map, a simple plan, a scientific blueprint. This plan will show you how to become fluent. It doesn't matter how many candles were on your last birthday cake. So let's talk about this big lie, this big myth. Why do we all believe it? Let's be honest. The myth feels true. We see it with our own eyes. A family moves to a new country. The children, maybe they are 7 or 8 years old. After 1 year, they are talking, chatting all the time. They sound like they were born there. But the parents, the adults, they go to a class for 1 year, maybe 2 years, and they still find it hard to order a coffee. They struggle. This experience, it confirms our belief. It makes us say, see? It's true. Kids are fast. Adults are slow. We start to believe that children are like little sponges. You know, a sponge in the kitchen? You put it in water and it soaks up all the water. We think kids are language sponges. They just stand there and the language goes into their brain effortlessly. And we, the adults, feel like rocks. You put a rock in water and nothing happens. The water just goes around it. We feel like the language goes around us, not in us. This is a very powerful feeling, and it comes from an old idea in science. This old idea has a long name. It's called the critical period hypothesis, but let's just call it the special window idea. Some smart people, linguists, a long time ago, proposed this idea. They said your brain has a special window for learning language. This window is open when you are a child, when you are very young, and it closes. It shuts around the time you become a teenager, around puberty. After that, the old idea said, your brain's power to change. Its flexibility. It just drops, like falling off a cliff. So for adults, learning a language would be slow. It would be painful. And you could never be perfect. You could never be truly fluent. That was the old story. It's a nice and simple story, and it gives us a perfect excuse. It lets us off the hook. When we are learning English and we find it hard, we can just sigh. We can say, oh well, I am too old. I missed the special window. It's not my fault. It's just my biology. My brain is old. This idea makes us feel better about our struggle. The problem is not our learning method. The problem is not our thinking. No, the problem is our brain, our age. And we can't change our age, right? So we feel a little helpless and we give up. This idea, this special window myth, it became so popular. It got deep into our culture. It was in books, in schools, in movies. It shaped how languages were taught for many, many years, and it created a terrible problem. It created a self-fulfilling prophecy. Do you know what that means? It means if you believe you will fail, you will not try very hard. You will be afraid to make mistakes. You will give up easily. And because you did not try hard, you will not succeed. So the belief that you would fail made you fail. The idea made itself come true. Millions of adults gave up on their dream, the dream of speaking another language, the dream of connecting with new people. Or they never even started because they thought, why try? It is hopeless. But things have changed. Science is not static. It grows and learns, and the new science tells a new story, a much, much more hopeful story for all of us. And it all starts with that one gigantic study, the study that put the old myth under a microscope and broke it. In the year 2018, a team of scientists at a very famous school, MIT, did something amazing. They published their work in a science paper called Cognition. They knew that to really understand how age affects learning, They needed a lot of people, not 100 people, not 1,000 people. They needed hundreds of thousands of people. So they were very clever. They created a fun grammar quiz online. They made it like a game. And they said, test your English grammar, see your score. And the quiz went viral. It was everywhere on the internet. People love quizzes. And a huge number of people took the quiz. 669,498 people. Let's just say more than 500,000 people. It was an ocean of data. This giant number of people allowed the scientists to see things clearly, like using a super powerful telescope. They could see the age someone started learning English. They could see how many years they had been learning. They could see if they learned in a classroom or by living in a country. All the small details. And what they found was stunning. It was a surprise. It changed everything. Here is what they discovered. The special ability to learn grammar, to learn it really well like a native speaker. That ability does not disappear when you are a teenager. It does not slam shut at age 13. No, it stays strong, very, very strong, until about age 17 or 18. So the special window is much bigger than we thought. But this is the most important part. This is the part that many people misunderstood. After age 18, your ability to learn does not fall off a cliff. It does not crash to zero. No. Instead, it starts a slow, gentle, gradual decline. I want you to imagine this. The old idea, the myth, was like a brick wall. At age 13, you run into a giant brick wall. Boom, stop. Learning is now impossible. The new science shows us it is not a wall. It is a long, gentle, shallow slope. A small hill you walk down very, very slowly. Imagine someone who starts learning at 17. They are at the top of the slope. Now, imagine someone who starts learning at 25. They are a little bit farther down the slope. Just a little, not at the bottom. Imagine someone starting at 40. They are a little farther down again, but they are still on the slope. They are still on the hill. They have not fallen off a cliff. Learning is still 100% possible. The study showed that many adults, people who started learning English after age 20, they did the very difficult grammar quiz, and they scored as high as native English speakers. Think about that. Adults, starting late, scoring as high as people born with the language. It is possible. So what does this giant study really mean for you? It means that being perfect, having perfect native-like grammar, is maybe a little easier if you start as a child. The chances are a little higher. But the ability to become very, very good, the ability to become what most of us call fluent, that is absolutely possible for adults. The biological window doesn't slam shut. It just becomes a little stiffer to open. You just need to push a little more. This changes everything. It moves the question. The question is not, is it possible? The new question is, okay, it is possible. So, what is the best way for me as an adult to do it? And that brings us to the next big secret. It is about the goal we are trying to reach. A huge reason we feel like we fail is that we are aiming for the wrong target. We are trying to hit an impossible bullseye. We confuse two very different ideas. One idea is passing for a native. The other idea is fluency. These are not the same thing. Let's talk about passing for a native. What does this mean? It means being completely indistinguishable from someone who grew up speaking that language. Your accent is perfect. Your grammar is perfect. You know all the tiny, subtle slang words. For an adult learner, this is an incredibly high goal. It is like trying to become an Olympic gold medalist in gymnastics when you are 40. Maybe one or two people in the world can do it, but for most people, it is not a realistic goal. Why is this so hard? Especially the accent. It is because of our brains and our ears. When you are an adult, your brain is an expert. It is a world-class expert in your native language. For 20, 30, or 40 years, it has listened to your language's sounds. It is highly optimized for those sounds. This can make it very difficult to even hear new sounds. Sounds that do not exist in your language. If your language does not have this sound, your ear might not really hear it at first. And if you cannot hear a sound perfectly, it is very, very hard to produce it perfectly, to make the sound with your mouth. This is why someone can speak English beautifully. They can be smart, funny, and successful, but they still have an accent. Is that a problem? Is an accent a sign of failure? No, absolutely not. Now let's talk about the other goal, the much better goal, the achievable goal. Fluency. What is fluency? Fluency is about connection. Fluency is about communication. It is the ability to share your ideas, to tell people about your life, to understand their stories. It is being able to have a discussion, to tell a joke, to watch a movie and understand it. It is the freedom to work or travel or live in a new country without feeling lost, without always needing a dictionary. Fluency is confidence. It is connection. It is freedom. And science shows that this goal, fluency, is completely 100% achievable for adult learners. You can become a highly proficient, effective, and confident communicator, even if you have an accent. This idea is the key. It is the secret that unlocks your power. When you stop chasing the ghost of a perfect native accent, when you stop trying to erase who you are, and you start focusing on clear, confident communication, the game changes. Your fear goes down, your confidence goes up. Your accent is not a mark of failure. It is not something to be ashamed of. Your accent is a mark of your journey. It is a sign of your bravery. It tells a story. It says, I know more than one language. I have walked in more than one world. It is part of your beautiful, unique identity. Think about it. So many of the world's most successful people speak with an accent. Scientists, artists, business leaders, actors. They communicate powerful ideas. They change the world. And they do it with an accent. The goal is not to erase where you come from. The goal is to expand your world, to add to it. So let go of the impossible goal of passing for a native. It is a heavy weight on your shoulders. Just let it drop. And instead, pick up the wonderful, realistic, and rewarding goal of true fluency, clear, confident communication. And now I want to tell you another secret. As an adult, you have some secret weapons. You have learning superpowers that children do not have. Yes, you heard me right. Superpowers. You are not weaker than a child learner. In many ways, you are much, much stronger. We all have this idea of children as sponges, soaking up language, but that metaphor is a little wrong. A child's learning is amazing, yes, but it is actually very, very slow, and it is not very efficient. Think about a baby. A baby is in the language 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, total immersion. How long does it take for that baby to speak in complex sentences? 3 years? 4 years? 5 years? It takes thousands and thousands of hours. Now think about an adult, you, with focused work, with a good strategy. An adult can become conversational in a few months, or in 1 year. A small fraction of the time it takes a child. How is this possible? Because of your adult superpowers. Let's talk about them. Superpower number 1. You already know how to learn. As an adult, you have been learning your whole life. You went to school. You learned skills for your job. You learned how to cook, or drive a car, or use a computer. You have experience with conscious learning. You know how to use strategies. You can use tools like flashcard apps to remember words. This is called spaced repetition. It is a powerful tool. You can take notes. You can watch videos that explain grammar. You can find patterns. A child learns by just absorbing. It is implicit learning. You can do that too, but you can also learn with a plan. You can learn explicitly. You can use strategy and analysis. This is a huge advantage. It is like having a map and a compass. A child is just wandering in the forest. Superpower number 2, you already understand what language is. You might not be a linguist. You might not know the fancy grammar words. But you know what a word is. You know what a sentence is. You understand the idea of past, present, and future. You know what a question is. You know what a noun and a verb are, even if you don't use those words. A tiny child learning to speak is also learning what the world is. They are learning the concept of dog at the same time as the word dog. They are learning the concept of yesterday at the same time as the past tense. It is a huge double task. But you already have one language. You have a full map of the world in your head. You can use your first language as a bridge, as a framework to help you understand the new one. This is a massive cognitive shortcut. Superpower number 3, you have focused motivation. A child learns a language because everyone around them is speaking it. It is their whole world. Their motivation is survival and connection. Your motivation as an adult is different. It can be more specific and more powerful. Why are you learning English? Maybe it is for a better job. Maybe it is to travel and see the world. Maybe you fell in love with a person from another country. Maybe you love English movies or music. You have a why, a clear personal reason. This goal-driven motivation is incredibly powerful for your brain. It turns on the reward systems in your brain. It helps you focus. It helps you remember what you learn. Science shows that this kind of motivation is a powerful fuel for your brain's ability to change. When you learn a new language as an adult, your brain physically changes. It is not just an idea, it is real. Studies show that learning a language can make parts of your brain grow. It can increase the gray matter, the thinking part of your brain, especially in areas for memory and attention. The language does not just go into your brain. It rebuilds your brain. It makes it stronger. So let's review your superpowers. You know how to learn. You know what language is, and you have powerful, focused motivation. Children are learning language and the world at the same time. You get to focus on just the language. That is your secret weapon. Now you might be thinking, Anna, this is wonderful. I feel so hopeful. But if I have these superpowers, why does it feel so hard? Why do I feel like I am not making progress? That is a very important question. And the answer is simple. It's not your brain. It's not your age. It's your strategy. It's the method you are using. Most of us are learning backwards. We are using methods that are old, or we are using methods made for children in a classroom. These methods fight against your adult brain. They do not work with your superpowers. Let's talk about the real enemies of adult language learning. There are 3 big ones. Enemy number 1, drowning in grammar rules from day 1. What do most people do first? They buy a big, thick grammar textbook. They open page 1, and they try to memorize complex rules. Verb conjugations, tenses, prepositions. They try to do this before they can even understand a simple conversation, before they can feel the rhythm of the language. This is like trying to learn the physics of swimming. Before you ever get into the water, you can read all the books about buoyancy and fluid dynamics. But if you have never been in a pool, can you swim? No. Language learning starts with input, with receiving the language, mostly by listening. Focusing only on grammar rules first is a recipe for frustration. Enemy number 2, the fear of making mistakes. This is a big one for adults. We are used to being competent, to being good at things. We hate looking foolish. We hate feeling stupid. Think about a child learning to talk. They say things like, I go to the store. They make thousands and thousands of mistakes. Do they feel shame? No, they don't care. They are just trying. They are learning. Every mistake is a step forward. But an adult, we want to say the sentence perfectly in our head first. We think and check the grammar. And often, we just stay silent. We are afraid to speak because we might be wrong. This silence is devastating for your progress. It is so bad. It starves your brain. Your brain needs practice. It needs feedback. It needs to try and fail and try again. That is how it builds the new roads, the new connections. Every mistake you are afraid to make is a learning opportunity you have just lost. Enemy number 3, the crutch of constant translation. A crutch is something you use to help you walk when your leg is broken. It is helpful for a short time, but if you use it forever, your leg will never get strong. When we start learning, it is normal to translate in our head. We hear an English word, we think of the word in our language, we want to say something, we think of it in our language first, then translate it. This is a natural first step. But the goal is to stop doing this. If you rely on translation forever, you will never be fluent. You will always be slow. You will always be thinking about 2 languages at once. Fluency happens when you start to think in the new language, even if it's simple thoughts. I am hungry. It is a beautiful day. That dog is cute. Thinking in English is the real goal. Relying on translation is like swimming with a life jacket on. You will float, you will not sink, but you will never, ever learn to swim on your own. So these 3 enemies. 1, too much grammar, too early. 2, fear of mistakes. 3, always translating. These are the real reasons why adults struggle. It has nothing to do with your age. It has everything to do with your strategy. So if that is the wrong way, what is the right way? What is the plan? What is the blueprint for adult fluency? The new science of learning gives us a clear answer. It is a simple 3-step plan. and it works with your adult brain, not against it. Step 1, massive input, especially listening. This is the most important step of all. You have to flip the classroom model upside down. In a traditional class, the teacher talks for 10% of the time, and you are expected to speak. This is wrong. Before you can produce language, speak or write, you must absorb language, listen or read. You need hours and hours and hours of input. You need to fill your brain with the sounds and the patterns of English, just like a child does. But remember your superpower? You can choose your input. You can make it fun. Start with things made for learners, like this podcast, or other podcasts for English learners. Then move to simple, real-world things. Watch children's TV shows. They use simple language and speak clearly. Then find YouTube videos about topics you love. Do you love cooking? Gardening? Video games? Cars? Find YouTubers who talk about those things. You will be so interested in the topic that you forget you are learning. Eventually, you can move to movies you love and news reports. The goal is to make listening a part of your daily life. 15 minutes every day, 30 minutes, 1 hour. Listen when you are driving, when you are cleaning the house, when you are exercising. Don't worry about understanding every single word. That is not the goal. The goal is to let the language wash over you. The more you listen, the more you build a feeling, an intuition for what sounds right in English. You will know something is correct long before you can explain the grammar rule for it. This is the foundation of fluency. Step 2. Master the sounds before the script. Remember we talked about how our adult ears are experts in our own language? We need to retrain them, and we need to retrain our mouths. So at the very beginning of your journey, spend special dedicated time on pronunciation. Find the sounds of English that are not in your language. The difference between ship and sheep. You can find videos online that show you how to make these sounds. They show you where to put your tongue, how to shape your lips. You can use apps that use a microphone to listen to you and give you feedback. You can work with a tutor for just a few sessions on pronunciation. Again, the goal is not a perfect native accent. Please do not worry about that. The goal is clarity. The goal is to train your ear to hear the sounds correctly so you can understand what people say. And the goal is to train your mouth to produce the sounds clearly so that people can understand you. Understanding and being understood. That is the goal. Spending time on this at the start will make everything else so much easier. Step 3. Embrace desirable difficulty. This sounds like a complicated name, but it is a very simple and powerful idea from psychology. It means that for learning to be strong and long-lasting, it has to be a little bit difficult. It has to be a challenge. Think about exercising. If you lift a weight that is very, very light, your muscles don't grow. If you try to lift a weight that is too heavy, you will hurt yourself. You need to find a weight that is challenging but possible. That is how you get stronger. Learning is the same. If your learning is too easy, you get bored and you forget it quickly. If your learning is too hard, you get frustrated and want to quit. You need to find the sweet spot, the good difficult feeling. A great rule to follow is the 80% rule. Try to find material to read or listen to, where you understand about 80% of it. not 100%. If you understand everything, you are not learning anything new. You are just reviewing. That's okay sometimes, but it is not for growth. Not 50%. If you only understand half, you will feel lost and stressed. 80% is the magic number. You understand enough to follow the main idea, but there are new words and new sentences that push your brain. Your brain is forced to work a little to understand the missing 20% from context. This little bit of effort, this desirable difficulty, is what creates strong new connections in your brain. It is what makes learning stick. So find books for learners called graded readers. Find podcasts for intermediate learners. Find materials that challenge you just enough. This is smart learning. This is effective learning. So there it is, the 3-step blueprint. 1, massive listening input. 2, focus on sounds early. 3, find your 80% challenge zone. This is the manual for your adult brain. This is how you use your superpowers. So, my friend, let's go back to our big question. Is it possible to become fluent in a new language as an adult? The science is clear. The evidence is in. The answer is yes. Yes, it is absolutely 100% possible. The idea that you are too old, that there is a hard cutoff date, is a myth. It has been proven wrong by a giant study of more than 660,000 people. The change in our learning ability is a gentle slope, not a cliff. You are still on the slope. We learned that one of the biggest problems is aiming for the wrong goal. We must stop chasing the ghost of native perfection and start chasing the beautiful, achievable reality of confident communication. We discovered that your adult brain is not a weakness. It is a powerhouse. You have superpowers, strategic thinking, a deep understanding of the world, and powerful personal motivation. And most importantly, we have seen that when adults feel like they are failing to learn a language, it is almost never a failure of their age or a failure of their brain. It is a failure of their method, a failure of their strategy. Your age is not a cage. It does not lock you out from the beautiful world of other languages. Your age is just a different toolkit. And it needs a different instruction manual, the one we talked about today. By focusing on listening, by mastering the sounds, and by embracing a small, good challenge every day. You are using a plan that works with your brain, not against it. The journey to fluency is not always easy. I will not lie to you and say it is. There will be hard days. There will be days you feel tired or frustrated. But it is not impossible. It is far from impossible. It is a path of discovery, a path of connection to new people and new cultures, a path of incredible growth for your mind. And that path is open to you right now, today. You can do this. Thank you so much for listening today. I hope this has given you a feeling of hope and motivation. Remember that learning is a marathon, not a sprint. Be kind to yourself. Be patient with your progress. Every single step, no matter how small, is a victory. If this episode helped you, please consider giving it a like or sharing it with a friend who needs to hear it. And don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss our next episode together. Now, I would love to hear from you. It is your turn to share. What language are you learning? Or dreaming of learning? And what has been the biggest mental block? The biggest bad idea that has been holding you back? Share your story in the comments below. Let's talk. Let's encourage each other. Let's build this community of brave adult learners together. Thank you again for your time and your heart. Keep learning, keep growing, and keep believing in what is possible. See you next time, my friend.